Africa making it back to the international fold after 22 years of apartheid. India was not supposed to propose the name of South Africa at the International Cricket Council. Mr. Dalmiya was representing India, and he went and suggested to L.M. Singhvi, the Indian High Commissioner in London, that can India formally propose the name of South Africa? Now, this had to be a government call. This was a government call. Mr. Singhvi was a little taken aback. He was a little apprehensive and suggested to Mr. Dalmiya that this has to be ratified by the government of India. It was. Madhavrao Sindhya was president. The government of India did back the call. Mr. Dalmiya was empowered the next day. He was empowered the next day to go and formally propose the entry of South Africa into the international cricket fold once again. And that's how the re-entry happened and South Africa made it back. But that's only half the story. The second half of the story is equally interesting. An India versus Pakistan series was in the offing. Pakistan pulled out last moment. Mr. Dalmiya called the South African administrators led by Ali Bakhar to Kolkata. 48 hours of planning, and here comes Mr. Gavaskar. If there was one cricketer who played an instrumental role in that series happening in 1991 on the 10th of November, it happened to be Sunil Gavaskar. And I got that corroborated both by Mr. Dalmiya when he was there, because I used to be working on the history of Indian cricket, and Mr. Dalmiya had said at that point that, look, 48 hours of talk, planning, and everything else, South Africa was convinced. The African National Congress was brought into the fold. Nelson Mandela was spoken to, and the tour happened. The tour happened. Not only that, we talk about Mr. Dalmiya, and tomorrow's cricket match will be telecast by 35 cameras. It started then. For the first time, Jagmohan Dalmiya managed to get R250,000 to telecast that series back to South Africa, and thereafter, from having a loss of 60 lakh rupees in 1992, the Board of Control for Cricket in India today has several $billion. So the commercialism of Indian cricket started with that 1991 tour, which Mr. Dalmiya had orchestrated. That's how it ties the whole story: South Africa, Mr. Dalmiya, and Mr. Gavaskar. So let's celebrate with a 2-minute audiovisual presentation which we've put together, celebrating the life and legacy of Jagmohan Dalmiya. Can we have the audiovisual, please?
Shri Jagmohan Dalmiya was an Indian cricket administrator and businessman from the city of Kolkata. He served as the president of the Board of Control for Cricket in India, BCCI, as well as the Cricket Association of Bengal, CAB. He also held the prestigious position of the president of International Cricket Council, ICC. He joined the BCCI in 1979 as a representative of the Cricket Association of Bengal and became its treasurer in 1983. Shri Jagmohan Dalmiya proposed hosting the 1987 World Cup in the Indian subcontinent. With crucial support from associate nations, the proposal was passed by the ICC with a strong majority. The 1987 Cricket World Cup became the first edition of the tournament to be held outside England, paving the way for the rotational system of hosting major cricket tournaments. Dalmiya also ensured that the final was played at Eden Gardens in Kolkata and oversaw the renovation of its clubhouse ahead of the event. The then BCCI Secretary Shri Dalmiya proposed the readmission of South Africa to international cricket in 1991 and organized South Africa's 3-match ODI tour of India the same year. In November 1991, South Africa played their first international match after 21 years with the ODI at the Eden Gardens, hosting around 1 lakh spectators. In 1997, he was unanimously elected as the president of ICC, becoming the first Asian and the first non-cricketer to hold the position. During his tenure as ICC president, Shri Dalmiya's support was instrumental in awarding test status to Bangladesh. Bangladesh went on to play their first test match in November 2000 against India at the Dhaka Stadium. After completing his term at the ICC, Dalmiya was elected as the president of the BCCI for the first time in 2001. In 1996, the BBC described Shri Jagmohan Dalmiya as one of the world's top 6 sports executives. In 2005, he was honored with the International Journal of the History of Sports Achievement Award for Administrative Excellence in Global Sport. Shri Jagmohan Dalmiya has often been credited for commercializing cricket and transforming the BCCI into the richest cricket board in the world. In June 2013, he was appointed the interim president of the BCCI, and on 2nd March 2015, he returned as the BCCI president after a 10-year gap. His leadership, vision, and unwavering dedication to the game continue to inspire generations, leaving behind a legacy that remains etched in the history of world cricket.
Jagmohan Dalmiya. 1992, 13.5-hour long ICC meeting. England and Australia had a veto. It was Mr. Dalmiya who was instrumental in making sure that that veto was revoked, and India, or the BCCI, became what it is at the International Cricket Council. So the legacy lives on. Moving on to our speaker of the day, someone who I don't need to introduce at all, the man who gave Indian cricket teeth and muscle. 1971, an average of 154.8 at the seat of cricket at that point, the Caribbean. Sunil Gavaskar is someone who has made our cricket what it is. Sunny Bhai to many of us, he inspires, is an aspirational story, and someone who stands for and is the epitome of what Indian cricket was, is, and has become. Someone who has known Mr. Gavaskar very, very closely, has worked with Mr. Gavaskar for the longest time, is a very dear friend of his. May I please call upon Shri Debashish Dotto to come on stage and say a couple of words on Mr. Sunil Gavaskar. Shri Debashish Dotto, please. Where's Debashish Da? There you are, please.
Good evening. It's a tough call. The man is 76 years old, and I have to finish in 2 words. Absolutely impossible. So not even T20 or T10. It should be played on T5. I'm trying to play that aggressively. Pardon me if I make any mistake. What can I say about a legendary 76-year-old Moor who continues to live life of his own terms? That he is regarded as one of the greatest opening batsmen in cricket history, that he was the first to score over 10,000 runs in Test cricket, that he is known for his exceptional technique, concentration and tenacity. Well, Sunil Manohar Gavaskar is all that and much more. His legacy in Indian cricket is profound, and the little master continues to inspire generations of cricketers with his knowledge, wit and experience. My association with him dates back to nearly 5 decades. I first met him when I was a freelance cricket writer. During a Dalip Trophy match in 1981, I had the audacity to send him my visiting card in the dressing room soon after he had been dismissed. I was nervous, waiting outside, cursing myself for my over-jealousness. My heart was in my mouth when I saw him emerge from the dressing room. He spoke to me briefly, and later he introduced me to the likes of Gundappa Vishwanath and Dilip Vengsaka. As a nondescript reporter, I was touched by his warmth with which he met me and went out of his way to help me. I was so tongue-tied that I could barely speak. Even today, after almost 5 decades of our association, I find it difficult to speak in his presence. It is not out of fear or awe, but because I simply love observing him. I marvel at the way he carries himself, the way he speaks, the way he dresses, and the humility with which he greets people. I could not have found a better mentor than him. As a cricket writer, I have had the privilege of following him around the globe when was a player, and I continued doing so when he transitioned to commenting on the game from behind the microphone. Like an eager student, I have learned about the finer points of the game from the master himself. He talks about the game with the same poise and finesse with which he used to tackle the fearsome fast bowlers of his time. He is widely regarded as the last word in batting, but to me, Sunil Gavaskar is a whole cricket university in himself. Unfortunately, Indian cricket has not used his enormous experience and wealth of knowledge to promote the game in the country. In the first changing landscape of world cricket, purely in terms of cricketing acumen, Sunil Gavaskar would rate 10 by 10. I marvel at the manner in which he keeps abreast with the latest development in the sport. Talking about cricketing acumen, I would place our own Saurabh Ganguly and Sir Geoffrey Boycott in the same bracket. Had I been a TV producer, I would have loved to have two SGs together in the commentary box. The TRPs would reach the stratosphere. Unfortunately, Saurabh has only occasionally taken to commentary assignment because of his other commitments. I sincerely feel viewers have enjoyed listening to him. I hope the CAB president, the current president, will use SMG's expertise for the betterment of Bengal cricket. I wish my mentor, the legendary Sunil Gavaskar, a long and healthy life. May he continue to crisscross the globe as an Indian ambassador. I hope to follow him around till my last day. Till then, let the Mahagathbandhan continue. I was not prepared at all. I got a bouncer from Saurabh Ganguly that I have to speak on the legendary Sunil Gavaskar. Thank you, Saurabh. Thank you, CAB. Enjoy the evening and wish him so that SMG gets his another century in life. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Devashish. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, Devashish Dotto, আমি বাংলায় just quickly drift করছি because I know quite a lot of people here will not understand বাংলা. But Devashish দা আপনার লেখা on সুনীল গাভাস্কার আমরা সবাই CAB যারা এখানে রয়েছেন সবাই পড়ে বড় হয়েছি and on all of us have enjoyed reading through your eyes and understanding the legacy of Mr. Gavaskar better. Ladies and gentlemen, Devashish Dotto. Devashish da mentioned that the two SGs should be in the commentary box together. That's not happening immediately, but what can happen is I can actually get the two of them on stage together. And there's another absolute legend sitting in front of me, so why not? Why not take this opportunity of calling all of them together on stage, request the President of the Cricket Association of Bengal, Shri Saurabh Ganguly, to felicitate Shri Sunil Gavaskar and Shri Anil Kumble, and also release the coin that will be used for the toss tomorrow, a very special commemorative coin that the Cricket Association of Bengal has designed. Saurabh, why don't you come on stage and get Mr. Gavaskar and Anil to join you, and we get on with this special felicitation and release. Sunny Bhai, may we please have you on stage. Anil, please can we have you on stage. May I please request, yes ma'am, Saurabh Ganguly to first felicitate Shri Sunil Gavaskar and then Shri Anil Kumble, and we will formally release the coin. And now, Shri Anil Kumble, please. Can we have, no, it's slightly later. Yeah. Can we have a round of applause, please, for Shri Anil Kumble? And now it's the turn to formally release the coin with the three legends together. After the photo op, okay, once the photo op is done in the next few seconds, we will get the coin formally released. Thank you very much. Ma'am, can we please have the coin on stage? This is the coin which will be used at the toss tomorrow. Shorab, if you could get Sunny Bhai and Anil to release it together with you. Yes, I'll call them. And maybe please all have our CAB office bearers on stage for the release and a photo op as well, please. All of CAB office bearers on stage, please, for this momentous occasion. So the coin is very special. On one side of the coin is Mahatma Gandhi, the other side, using the Freedom Trophy trope, which is what we play for when India and South Africa take center stage. One side is Nelson Mandela, the other side is Mahatma Gandhi. That's the coin that will be used at the toss tomorrow morning. Can we have the photo up one more time, all of them together? And then we will move on. Thank you, everyone. Sunny Bhai, I would request you to please stay on stage because soon the stage will be yours once all of them take their seats. Up, Sunny Bhai. We have come here this evening to listen to Sunil Gavaskar speak on the legacy of Jagmohan Dalmiya. Now it is time to do that. Let me just outline the way we will go about this evening. First, Mr. Gavaskar will deliver the Jagmohan Dalmiya lecture. Then it will be my privilege to have an interaction with Mr. Gavaskar, and I will also open the floor up for questions from members of this august audience. Do introduce yourself and ask your question for Mr. Gavaskar, and then there is a finale, which I'm not revealing at the moment. So ladies and gentlemen, to deliver the Jagmohan Dalmiya lecture, the one and only, the greatest, the man who gave Indian cricket teeth and muscle, welcome formally, Shri Sunil Gavaskar.
Thank you, Boria, and good evening, everybody. As an opening bat, you tend to prepare for your innings the next morning or the next day. You try and get a feel of what the pitch is likely to be. You try and look at what the opposition is going to be. You try and get an idea of what the conditions are going to be. And then you feel that you're sort of prepared. But in the game of cricket, you're never really prepared because the opposition is also planning something. Here, when Saurav very kindly asked me to come and deliver this Jagmohan Dalmiya lecture, that was some time ago, and I have had many days, many evenings when I've tried to gather my thoughts about Jagmohanji. And it's not been easy because there is, the gamut of emotions has been, so widespread. Because having known him as a player and an administrator, and then having known him after that as somebody associated with the game, and not quite an administrator maybe, but part of the administration in the sense that being part of a cricket committee. The emotions, sort of change because as a player, you are looking up to an administrator to be able to tell you, what is happening. Then as a fellow administrator, it's a different way of looking at each other. And therefore, I think, I've not been able to really sort out my thoughts when I stand here before you this evening. I'll make an effort, of course. Firstly, of course, there is not the slightest doubt, and I think Boria also mentioned earlier on about the many awards that Mr. Dalmiya won as an administrator. In my view, I think he was probably the greatest administrator that the game of cricket has seen. There have been many administrators, plenty of administrators, and there are probably few who have given back to the game. There are a lot who have taken from the game, but few who have given back to the game completely, totally, selflessly. And I think Mr. Dalmiya belonged to that category of those who totally gave to the game and didn't try to take anything out of the game for themselves. And I think that's the greatest compliment that I can pay him, because honestly, I've now been involved with Indian cricket as a player, and then later on after I stopped playing cricket. I stopped playing cricket. I keep saying I stopped playing cricket because I never officially retired. And therefore I keep saying to all the, every time there's a IPL auction, I keep dropping a few hints here and there. Okay, I'm still available, but nobody considers me, nobody picks me for any of the IPL teams. But no, having been associated with the Indian cricket since, say, 1961-62, when I started playing schools cricket for Mumbai schools, Bombay schools, I've come across many administrators, and therefore I can say this with not the slightest doubt in my mind. One of Mr. Dalmiya's greatest ability was to listen. He was a very, very good listener. You talked to him and you could see that, he would listen to you. And obviously after that, he would let it settle in his mind and make a call later. But he listened to you. And I think that's another quality that your current CAB president, Saurav Ganguly, has. Saurav Ganguly is also a very, very good listener. And therefore, after you listen to different viewpoints, then you're able to assimilate the situation and take the kind of decisions that you think will be the best. Not always the decision that you take will always be the best, but at least you've given every consideration, and then you've tried to take the decision which you think is the best for the game of cricket. With Mr. Dalmiya, when he was the administrator in India, Indian cricket came absolutely number one. Nothing else mattered to him. Not even, I think, CAB, yes, but I think for him, Indian cricket mattered more than anything else. And you could sense that, when I finished playing cricket and I was drafted into the technical committee, we used to have many a discussion as to what to do with Indian cricket. And while the pulls and pressures of Indian cricket are unique, absolutely unique, Mr. Dalmiya always seemed to be able to be on top of that. So many years after I was the chairman of the committee, not many, maybe a few years, I remember suggesting to him, maybe I think it's time to get out of the zonal system of the Ranji Trophy. And his ears pricked up and he said, yes, tell me. And I said, I think it's time to maybe go the elite group and the plate group way. And he said, why? I said, because when the teams are restricted to a zone, they're only playing in a few centers. But when you open it up, then they'll be playing, people in the Bengal team will be playing in Chennai, they'll be playing in Delhi, they'll be playing in Chandigarh, they'll be playing in Mumbai, they'll be playing in Indore. And therefore, they'll be able to get the experience of playing in different conditions. Red soil pitch, black soil pitch, hot weather, cold weather, all kinds of weather, all kinds of conditions, all kinds of crowds. And he said, yes, but how do we do it? And so I said, look, we still have the zonal system this year. So we announced at the AGM that we give all the zonal teams 1 year's notice that from the following year, so 1 year's notice where they play this year's Ranji Trophy in the zonal manner. And then after that, the top 2 teams in each zone will form the elite group, and the other teams will be in the plate group. And then, of course, we will have a promotion and a relegation system where the bottom 2 teams will go into the plate, and the top 2 teams from the plate will come into the elite. And he immediately said to me, look, it looks difficult. So I said, why? He said, because every zone has got five teams. And so there will be, from every zone, 3 teams at least who will be in the plate division, and they will not be able to win the Ranji Trophy. They will not be able to get the chance to win the Ranji Trophy. So I don't think it will get passed in the annual general meeting of the BCCI. I said, well, that is the way you have to do it. It's your call. He said, let me try. And he came back to me after, I think a working committee meeting. And he said, no, I don't think it'll happen, Sunil. Let's stick to 3 teams, the top 3 teams qualifying for the elite, and the other teams qualifying for the plate. And so that's how the elite and plate divisions came into being. And I do believe that has certainly helped Indian cricket, because now all the players get the experience of playing in different conditions. The other thing that we had decided, which was followed for a while, but I don't think it is being followed now, is that in the north, there will be no matches in the north from, say, the 15th of December to the 15th of January. Only because that is the time when it's winter. There will be a lot of dew. Matches will not start on time. There will be a bit of fog, smog. And so we will not be able to get any games. And that is not fair for the players and for the teams who are trying to qualify for the knockouts. That was also followed for quite a while. And then now I see that, you're now playing even in the months of, 15th of December to 15th of January. And you see a lot of matches which are not being played, called off because of bad weather. Another thing that he did, which I do believe is the need even today, is that he started the captains and coaches conclave. That was an unbelievable, thought. At the end of the season, the captains and coaches of every single team met, along with Mr. Dalmiya, the secretary, as the chairman of the technical committee, I would be there. And we discussed Ranji Trophy, Duleep Trophy cricket. And we took feedback from the captains and the coaches. They are the important ones. They are actually on the field of play. They know what is happening. They know what should be done, what should not be done, and what is good for the overall game in India. And that feedback used to be absolutely fantastic. Yes, out of the gathering, there would probably be maybe half a dozen to maybe 10 captains and coaches who would actually express their view. The others would say, no, I've got nothing to say. Or if they were fifth or sixth in the row, we would go, by sort of a rectangle table, and at the head table would be Mr. Dalmiya, the secretary, and myself and a couple of other BCCI officials. And so we would go, one by one. And so maybe sometimes, the one on the fifth, the sixth, they would say, no, we agree with what had happened. But we got tremendous feedback. And that was the important thing. And I think that is something that maybe Indian cricket could still do with. Because I think at the end of the day, what Indian cricket needs to listen to is the players. The players matter. They are the ones who are going out in the middle. And I think for them, you need to have that. Many years later, when I was in the governing council of the IPL, I remember writing to all the captains after the first season of the IPL and asking all the captains of the different franchises and asking what they thought would be a good thing for the future of the IPL. Anything that, any comment that they had, good or bad, about the IPL. Out of 8, 6 wrote back. And again, there was very good feedback, which I then conveyed to the governing council. And at that governing council, I remember being taken to task by one of the governing council members, an office bearer of the BCCI then, who told me, who gave you the authority to write to these captains? And I said, I wrote to them on my own as a former captain. I didn't write to them on behalf of the governing council. I wrote to them as a former cricketer and just wanted to get their views. It was over there that we got to know from Adam Gilchrist about what is now happening in the knockout stages, the eliminator, the eliminator and all those things that they have. Earlier on, it used to be the team that finished number 1 would play team finished 4, and 2 and 3 would play. Now this way, the teams that finish 1 and 2, they get an opportunity to, because they've done so well to finish 1 and 2, they get another opportunity even if they lose the first match. Now this, I think, has been something which everybody appreciates, that you do not want a situation on the day that team number 4 just has one of those good days and beats team number 1, where the difference in the points could be when team number 1 could be maybe 10 points ahead of team number 4. And then just because it's just one of those days that team number 4 has beaten team number 1. So I think those are the things that, Mr. Dalmiya was very, very aware of. These are the kind of things that Mr. Dalmiya would have 100% agreed with. Many years later again, when towards his second stint as the BCCI president, I remember going to his house. That was the first time I actually, in all these years, that I went to his house. Excuse me. He wasn't in the best of health, but I think Abhishek was there. And Mr. Kishan Gehlot, a dear friend, with whom Mr. Dalmiya had struck up a very good friendship and had given Kenya cricket the rights, as the ICC president, the rights to hold the Champions Trophy in Kenya in the year 2000. And Mr. Kishan Gehlot was the one who suggested to him that, that maybe you should look at having, a cricket advisory committee. He didn't actually mean it, cricket advisory committee. He said it, that you should make the use of cricketers who had finished and who could still make a contribution. Thank you. And who could still make a contribution to Indian cricket with their experience. And and he said, and Mr. Gehlot said, why don't you have 5 cricketers? And he named 5 cricketers. And I remember Jagmohan ji saying, Kishan ji, let's not, it's a very good idea, but let's not have 5. Because once you have 5 cricketers, again the zonal system will come in. That you will not have the best. You will have to have one from each zone. And that may not always be the best thing to have. And therefore now, but he took on the idea, and then you saw the 3-man CAC committee come into place. And what a fantastic CAC committee that first CAC committee was. Saurav, Sachin and VVS Lakshman. 3 outstanding cricketers, 3 legends of the game, and who, with the vast experience of having represented India all over the world. I mean, who could have been better than them to talk about, to take decisions on, I'm sorry, my throat's always an issue. Who could have given more to Indian cricket? And I think what the BCCI maybe should be doing is not just have the CAC only for choosing the coach or the selection committee, but also to talk about or to take decisions on what is good for the Indian cricket team. Often now, we go overseas without playing any matches overseas. And then we find, which has always been a situation with Indian cricket for a long time, the first match is the one where we end up losing. Then we are always playing catch-up. Whether it's a 3-match series or a 5-match series, we are always playing catch-up after having lost the first one. And we get better with the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th and 5th test matches. That's always been the case. So why not go a bit earlier, get used to the conditions, get used to the opposition. So from the first test, you will be at your very best. I know there's been talk that the hosting teams will not have their best 11 playing in some of these warm-up games, but never mind. I think it's just getting used to the pitches, getting used to the conditions, that is important. That will just give the team that much more confidence. The batters would know about the varying conditions. The bowlers would know what lines and lengths to bowl, because they're different. What you bowl in India, what you bowl overseas, lines and lengths are different. Similarly with the batting. And that would only help. And I think that is something that maybe the CAC could be involved in the future. Because I do believe that with the experience of the CAC that you might have. I mean, clearly I think to be able to get the kind of CAC that was there the first time around with Sachin, Saurav and VVS, it'll be very, very difficult to get that kind of, cricketing experience and cricketing acumen at the moment. But why not? I think an attempt should definitely be made. I don't know whether I should continue or maybe have... I just wanted to because we're talking about Indian cricket, we've been seeing in recent times, ever since the Lodha panel came up with the instructions to give the Ranji Trophy status to all the states, that some of the performances are a bit skewed. And so records that have been set up earlier on, where players played maybe 7 matches, 8 matches, are now being overhauled in just about 3 or 4 games. So while there is a first class and there is a list A, maybe something like that should be considered, so that performances in the plate division, while still technically first class, may not be compared with what has happened in the proper first class. It's similar to what's happening at the international level as well. Similar to a situation where a country playing a country, and the International Cricket Council has got more than 100 countries as associate members, and they all play in the T20 format. And what happens is that when Serbia plays Germany, now we all know what kind of standard Serbia and Germany would have. If Germany plays Spain, we know what kind of, the standard is. So records which have been, formed when full member countries, that is test playing countries, and the two qualifying countries have played in the World Cups, etc., they get smashed just like that. And therefore, because the countries are playing against each other, you call it international. Sure. I think there should still be a little bit of a grading where people will be able to know, this happened in this match, and this was not where it happened in a World Cup or in a tournament where the full member countries were also participating. I think these are things that maybe could be looked at, because I think records, while they are meant to be broken, they should be, when they are broken, they should be broken by the deserving, and not just broken because it just happened to be, one instance where two weak teams are playing, and sometimes, in one of the weak teams you have some of the overseas players coming and out of station players coming and doing the breaking of the record. I think if Mr. Dalmiya had been there, maybe he would have definitely given it a bit of thought. He would have definitely come up with a solution. I don't have a solution. I hope Saurav, Anil, who have been administrators, will have some sort of a solution for this. But all I want to say is that for me, having had the wonderful association with Mr. Dalmiya, it really has been a pleasure to speak about him and talk about his incredible contribution to the world game. When he took over the ICC, we all know what the funds the ICC had. I think something like $16,000 or 16,000 pounds, that was all it had. He was the one who started the Champions Trophy. He was the one who gave the TV rights for millions. And that's how today ICC has got, these millions. And this is where Mr. Dalmiya was instrumental. Also, I think when Indian cricket started to get the money, as Boria mentioned, with the rights to the South Africa's first return to international cricket, and then the big fight with Doordarshan. I think it was in 92, 93, the big fight with Doordarshan, where the BCCI was at that stage actually paying Doordarshan to cover 5 lakhs or something like that, to cover the test matches. And I think it was overturned by the Supreme Court, and therefore you now have the BCCI earning, so much from. There have been trophies and awards named after so many people. This lecture is a fantastic thing, but I do hope that the International Cricket Council, as well as the BCCI, will quickly have an award or a trophy named after Mr. Dalmiya. I don't know what it will be, but it has to be something for a real big achievement. Maybe Boria will be able to will be able to come up with an idea. But I do believe that Mr. Dalmiya mustn't be remembered only with this lecture. Once a year, I don't think that should be the case. I think he should be remembered for what he's done for Indian cricket. I think Indian cricket, international cricket, world cricket owes him enormously. Because if today Indian cricket and international cricket is in good, sound financial health, it is only because of one man, Mr. Jagmohan Dalmiya. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much.
Ladies and excuse me, yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, you've heard Sadi Bhai talk about a gamut of things. Let me try and sort of extrapolate some of the points that he mentioned and try and make this discussion rather a macro discussion on cricket at the current way or the current scenario. Sadi Bhai, you mentioned the domestic circuit, you mentioned what Mr. Dalmiya did. But in your playing career and subsequently as an administrator, and as a commentator, you've seen how India, there was this whole mentality shift when compared to the West. Mr. Dalmiya presided over that. Can you talk to me about that? Say it's the Saurav Ganguly, Jagmohan Dalmiya era, 2001, 2, 3, the Australia series, the South Africa World Cup of 2003. You saw it yourself. The transformation of Indian cricket, traveling overseas, trying to win overseas and winning overseas, that was also something that happened, and monetarily. Indian cricket becoming the powerhouse. I think that kind of fundamentally not just changed Indian cricket, but changed global cricket, made it into a sport that is monetized today. Your thoughts on that?
Oh, absolutely. I think that was so important because look, at the end of the day, when we first started to to play, we were often, even in India, often staying in guest houses while the visiting team, because of their stronger currency, particularly England and Australia, would be staying at five-star hotels. Sometimes when you traveled, the visiting team, of course, those days the number of people were less. 15, 16 people, visiting team, 15 players, plus manager and maybe assistant manager. But they would be traveling business class, and we would be maybe traveling by train. Now, when that kind of a thing happens, you start to think that you are not at the same level. Maybe talent-wise you might be at the same level or maybe even better. But it used to make you feel that you're not as good as them. And that would affect your performance. But I think when everybody started to be on par, like we could travel, by air, we could travel business class, we could stay in five-star hotels, I think that thinking changed. That we are as good, if not better. And I think to a great extent, I think, as you said, the administration had to come in. Yes, BCCI didn't have the money in the early, when we played. Sure, we understand that. And those were the days when it was like reciprocal tours. So, when the teams came to India, they made their own arrangements. Everything was done. It was gate money. There was no television then, it was gate money. So you had to, and therefore the pitches that were also made were made to last for 5 days. So there would be gate money that would come in. And, but still, you just had that feeling, that maybe you're not, because you also realize the match fees that you got and the match fees or the tour fees that the visiting team was getting. So those were the things that made a difference.
Sanima, let me bring you to the current scenario and ask you a counter-history question. We've just seen the women's team win the World Cup. Cricket Association of Bengal felicitated Richa Ghosh just the other day. When I see the scenario, you mentioned traveling in train, Jhulan sitting there 2005 after the team made the final, they were still traveling, sitting next to unreserved toilets. After making a World Cup final in 2005. And look at the scenario now. Saurav Ganguly's tenure started the WPL, and we've seen a complete revolution happen. Now, had Mr. Dalmiya been alive, you've got a World Cup, come home. You have aspirational stories across the country of people wanting to pick up a cricket bat or a ball. What do you think Mr. Dalmiya would have done to take women's cricket to the next level? Because there's still not pay parity in the real sense, because match fees are equal, but the contractual money is 7 crores and 50 lakhs. There is a huge difference still that exists in the current context.
I think that could well be because of the of the number of international matches that the men play and the number of international matches that the women play. And maybe that's the reason why the contracted amount there might be that difference. Though I don't think it should be that much of a difference. The fact that, there is pay parity is absolutely fantastic. And I think that's what Mr. Dalmiya would have ensured. And now, having won, I think he would have ensured that just about the whole team would have been taken to different cities for a felicitation. Because there's nothing like when you get to meet with champions, you get inspired. And all young girls would have got just inspired by just being around all these champions. And they were absolutely fantastic champions. The way they bounced back after those 3 losses, and those were near losses. I mean, the Indian girls lost from winning positions. But then to come back from that, beat New Zealand in the most important game so that they could qualify for the semis, then beat Australia in the semis, chasing 340. It was an incredible performance. There was no way that I think South Africa was going to get 290. Once you get to 290, almost 300, more than 250 was always going to be tough. So I think, this is an inspirational story, and I think this is where Mr. Dalmiya would have taken everybody. I know sometimes some of our girls are playing in the Big Bash, and so maybe wouldn't have been available. But even if not everybody was available, I think because they don't have any commitments at the moment, if they were playing something, fine. But because they don't have any commitments, give them a week to be with their families, enjoy that, and then maybe take them around. Even now can be done. Take them around to different cities and just have other girls come and see them and get inspired so that they can also play the game.
One thing that stood out for me after that final was when the team was celebrating and Jhulan and Mithali and people were there and they handed the trophy to them. What it meant to these people. I remember Lords and remember speaking to Jhulan late that night because the team did not leave Lords in 2017 for a good 4 or 5 hours. Saurav mentioned this in that felicitation ceremony. He's made 3 finals. You are a World Cup winner. Can you actually decode what does a World Cup win mean for a person? Because I don't think in this audience there is even one more World Cup winner. Saurav Ganguly 3 times finalist. Jhulan Goswami multiple times there as well. 2017, 2005, but you won a World Cup.
I think it's a feeling hard to describe. Hard to describe because I think as a batter, when you start batting, you play for your country, what you're looking for is to get that first Test century. And when you get that first Test century, it takes you time. It doesn't, it's not easy. Very few, Saurav got a century on debut, but very few get a century on debut. It takes them 2, 3, maybe 4, 5 Test matches before you get that century. The moment you get that century, the euphoria that you feel, the feeling that envelops you as you savor the applause of the crowd, whether it's a home crowd or an overseas crowd, as well as looking into your change room, looking towards the change room, to see your teammates standing in the balcony applauding you. And then when you go in at the interval, whether it's lunchtime, tea time, or end of the day, and when you get those back slaps from your teammates, yes, slapping you on the back, well played, all that, it's a feeling that is like a drug, where you want it again and again and again. And that is what, having won a title makes you feel. It's just an incredible feeling.
So 83 led to 85.
83 led to 85, and I do hope 25 will lead to 27, 29, and therefore...
We have the World T20 in England in 26.
Well, there you are.
Lord's 5th of July. Jhulan would want to be there and commentate for an Indian win.
I certainly hope that I'd be able to be there because I was there in 2017. 2017 at Lord's when the girls lost by just 9 runs. And that was the first time in recent times that a ground in England the English outnumbered the Indians. Normally, even in a ground in England, the Indians outnumber the English. But the girls' match, I think the crowd was overwhelmingly English. And maybe our girls got a little bit nervous, but they learned from it. And they won.
Moving on to men's cricket, I mean, the fan base in India, for example, I mean, hopefully we will have 50,000, 60,000 people turn up at the Eden Gardens tomorrow. That's been a quest for the current president and his team here. Get people back, fans back to watching Test cricket. We've come close to the WTC. You were there in England. Each day you and I would speak about it, that magical series at the Oval. Do you reckon Indian cricket is now poised to make a real pitch for the WTC? Mr. Dalmiya, again, 2001 to now, it is that straight line journey?
Yes, I think so. I think the Indian team is such a good team that irrespective of the conditions, wherever they are playing, they have the capability, both batting, bowling, to win anywhere. And it's going to be a challenge. You're playing the champions tomorrow. The World Test they won the World Test Championship, South Africa. So it's going to be a challenge to begin with them. They've got a very good team as well. But this Indian team is capable. Yes, they will have the odd bad game, but I do believe that this team has the character to come out of any mishaps and then go on to win the World Test Championship in 2027.
So, this transformation, which actually can be traced back to Mr. Dalmiya's tenure under Ganguly, this 2001, for example, NatWest 2002, 2004 Australia, and India starting to win consistently overseas. Now we see it when our team goes. The understanding is we can win, or we will win. It's no longer that, a draw is okay. Is that, you reckon, the big change in Indian cricket that the Shubman Gill, Gautam Gambhir era can take forward? And,
yes.
and the role of the BCCI, Sunnybai, because when we talk about sports administration, the federation is one favorite whipping boy for anyone. The BCCI has to be given credit, and the state associations, which is why Indian cricket today is as robust. I'm not saying every federation is great, but overall, Indian cricket is in fantastic shape.
It certainly is. And yes, I think, BCCI is the favorite whipping boy. Maybe the BCCI should consider having a PR company to actually tell the amount of good that they keep on doing. We talk, for example, this pay parity, starting the WPL, the pension schemes that are there for former players. Just generally what the BCCI keeps on doing is something that not too many people tend to know. And I think something that needs to be, told to the world, and maybe, I don't know how to do it, but maybe they need to hire maybe more PR guys rather than the legal guys. Because, I think they'll probably get a lot more out of it than going to the legal guys. Legal guys is just going to be, expense for I don't know what. But there you are. I think what the BCCI and the state associations are doing has been amazing. I think I can tell you about what the Mumbai Cricket Association is doing, and I think this is something that I do believe needs to be looked at, is the Ranji Trophy, the fees that the Ranji Trophy player gets. Today there are no jobs. Earlier on there used to be, jobs. You had the State Bank of India or the Air India or the Railways. They all had players not under contract, but employed. So you were employed till you retired at your age of 58, 60, whatever the retirement age of that company was. Today you're on a contract. So you're only on a contract while you're good enough to play. Then you could be, taken off. Now that also is not happening. So if you want to be a cricketer, as a Ranji Trophy player, you should be able to make, in that 3-4 months that you play your Ranji Trophy, maybe you're in one of the groups where you play only 6 matches. If you're lucky to go to the quarterfinal, semi-final, final, it's another matter. You get those 3 extra matches. But there should be the money that the BCCI gives should be matched like Mumbai Cricket Association is doing, should be matched by the state association. So then if the BCCI does not, I still feel BCCI should increase the daily fees for Ranji Trophy. Because when a Ranji Trophy player who, say, supposing he plays five matches and then his team is out, or 6 matches and his team is out, and he gets, what, about 1,60,000 per game. So if after that, so far he gets about 10 lakhs, say. And then if he plays maybe a Duleep Trophy or a Vijay Hazare Trophy, he makes another couple of lakhs. So he ends up with about 12 lakhs, maybe 14 lakhs for a season. Then he finds an uncapped player for the IPL, being picked for 5 crores and 6 crores. He's going to say, look, that guy is playing only 14 days of cricket, or 16 days if his team gets to the final. And he's going to get 5-6 crores, and I play 40 days of cricket, and I'm going to end up getting only 12 lakhs or 13 lakhs. And so, and I've suggested it before in my columns, that what the BCCI should be doing is for the uncapped player, they should have a limit, a ceiling, you're right, a ceiling over which, like it happened in 2010, over which the competing franchises can still bid. So if for example, a Ranji Trophy player who plays all the matches right till the final gets, say, 20 lakhs, 22 lakhs. So 5 times that amount, 1 crore, should be the ceiling for an uncapped player. Let the bidding go on. And if the eventual bidding is, say, 5 crores, the 4 crores the BCCI keeps and uses it to give it to the Ranji Trophy players. So the money is not going out of BCCI pockets. Money is not going out of BCCI pockets. The money is going from the franchises. And they're using that money. There was a time last year, I think, when somebody told me that there were, if that 1 crore ceiling had been kept, there would have been 34.5 crores available to have been used for the Ranji Trophy player. And that 34.5 crores, I know there are lots of matches, Ranji Trophy matches now with, the more number of teams in the fray. But just imagine, the BCCI is not short of money, but here again, they would have been able to, use that money to be able to compensate the Ranji Trophy player.
I'll ask 2 more questions and open it up for questions from the floor. So kindly think about your questions, be specific, and we'll get Mr. Gavaskar to answer quite a few. Sunny Bhai, there's been quite a debate about stars. Should the sport have stars or not? Take the ODI series in Australia, a bilateral series otherwise of limited consequence becoming what it did because these 2 players get bums on seats. Virat Kohli, Rohit Sharma becoming poster boys. Sport has always been about stars. There is this talk. Do you agree that a sport like cricket, or for that matter any sport, requires superstars to sell a product? The Tendulkar, the Ganggulis of the world, you have to have poster boys?
100%, 100%. Because they are the ones who are going to bring in the interest, bring in the crowds. Today, in golf, for example, today you just mentioned the name Tiger Woods. I think most of you would know that he's not capable of winning, a title. Maybe he can because he's a legend. But mention the name Tiger Woods, you'll still get, viewership. People will come in to watch. Why? Because he's a star. So therefore, yes, you do need stars. Without stars, the game loses a little bit of the spark. The stars are definitely needed.
Finally, when I take a look at Indian cricket today, Sunny Bhai, take T20s, we see we can produce 2 teams. Take ODIs. India has not lost any match practically except that World Cup final in a couple of years. Take Test match cricket, we've sort of turned a corner. Take the women's sport, we've just won a World Cup. We made the final not too long ago. Is this the best period of Indian cricket in terms of talent that you are seeing and the supply line?
Yes, considering the number of wins that we are having, this has to be the last decade or so, from say 2010, 2011. I think these 15 years have been absolutely fantastic as far as Indian cricket is concerned. Look at the number of trophies we won. Look at the number of series we won. Look at what we have given to the world game. So I think I certainly feel that this 15 years has been absolutely fantastic.
So clearly, that's what you get. I mean, the Jagmohan Dalmiya legacy cannot be just painted with the period that Mr. Dalmiya was administrator. The foundation was laid and the superstructure was subsequently built. That is why you're getting what you're getting as far as Indian cricket, both men and women, are concerned. I'll open it up for questions from the floor. Put your hands up. We'll pass on the microphone to the audience. We'll try and take at least 4 or 5 questions. Anyone who has a question, please. Do I see hands? Yes, Devashita. Can we have a microphone there, ma'am? Thank you. Yes,
Good
Devashita.
evening, Mr. Gavaskar. This is Devashish Datta here. I am from Mohan Bagan Club. I am asking a totally a separate question and maybe a little bit that whether BCCI will support other sporting sports. I'm not talking only about football or hockey, but also there are a lot of sports in India. Those who are not getting sponsorship, there is no glamour, but they can do perform very well if they can get a financial support. Whether BCCI will support these sports, that is my question to you.
I think BCCI certainly has supported other sports in the past.
Once they have supported.
I think they have supported the football federation when Mr. Patel was the...
Once they have supported.
Yeah, then I think the Archery Association of India as well. So they have supported. So they, the precedent is definitely there, no question about it. So I don't see why they can't, unless there's some sort of a tax implication. I think that was where I think they got into a little bit of trouble having done that, because being a society, as the BCCI calls itself, the organization, they were not supposed to be, giving anything out of their funds to another sporting, something like that. And that's how they got into...
But they can support.
Yeah, but they can.
Thank you.
Other questions, please? Come on, yes.
Thank you, Mr. Gavaskar. You remained my idol during your playing days, and I am really happy to be able to ask a question to you today. You have said about the role Mr. Dalmiya played in commercializing cricket worldwide. My question is, during your playing years, we know that Mr. Kerry Packer in Australia, he tried something similar to popularize and commercialize cricket by making many changes, but it did not continue for long. So what do you think that lacked Mr. Packer, what Mr. Dalmiya could do and could make a revolution in the world of cricket?
I think Mr. Packer's aim was basically to get the television rights in Australia, cricket television rights for his channel, Channel 9. And he brought in a lot of innovation as far as the one-day game was concerned. Colored clothing, playing under lights, these were things that had not happened before that. So he brought that, and his aim was to, as I said, to get the rights which he got after, I think, 2 years of World Series cricket. But I think Mr. Dalmiya, having learned from that, also brought in those innovations, and also at the same time made sure that the primary format of the game, which is Test cricket, maintained its importance. And to be able to, it's never going to be easy, particularly now with 3 formats in the game, at the international level, 3 formats in the game, to be able to maintain the balance between all 3 formats. There's place for all 3 formats, no question about it. 12 months is a long time. 365 days is a long time in a year, and you can certainly balance it. And I think that is what Mr. Dalmiya would have done, to be able to balance it in such a way that players who play in all 3 formats would still be able to have enough opportunity to get their mindsets changing according to the requirements of each format. Because at the end of the day, it's the mindset that makes the difference between Test cricket, 50 overs cricket, and the T20 game.
Further questions? Yes, sir. Can we have a microphone to the gentleman there? Yeah, thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Good evening. My best regards to Mr. Gavaskar. You too, my idol in your playing days. I'm just asking that you never wear a helmet in your playing days. And you have faces Malcolm Marshall, even Donald and a lot of fast bowlers. But nowadays everyone wearing the mask, that helmets. So can you give me what is the willpower behind you? So you never wear the helmets. So please suggest nowadays that we are playing, why they are wearing the helmet.
Sir, the answer is very simple. See, I didn't wear a helmet because there was nothing inside to protect. Today, they all are very intelligent. They are all very smart, so they have to protect. And that's why they are wearing.
No, this is not the answer, proper answer.
We didn't have, you see, we didn't have the helmet as equipment was just not there in those days. In fact, my first trip to the West Indies, we didn't even have thigh pads. So the face towels in the hotel room were the face, I mean, we used to fold them and put it in our pocket. That was our thigh pad. Indian jugaad, as they say, you know. We had that, you know,
Yeah.
so that's how it was.
Yeah, this is Jugaad. Thank you, sir.
Okay, yes, sir. Couple more.
Thank you, sir. A nice opportunity. I am Dr. Shankha Sen from Shiliguri. My question is, in these days of 3 formats of cricket being played, we grew up seeing ODI cricket, your first century during the 87 World Cup and so on. So my question is, see, recently Virat Kohli surpassed the runs of Sanat Jayasuriya, but he still has played 100 matches lesser than him. So what is the way forward for ODI cricket, which to me is one of the most exciting one compared to T20 cricket and Test cricket?
I think what you just have to carry on the same way. I don't think that you need to make too many changes to the game. You know, when you make too many changes, the spectator gets a little confused. And therefore, I think what we have seen is, you know, like I said, the formats, all 3 formats have a place. It's just the timing of the format that needs to be, timing of when you play that remains to be seen. The one-day cricket will have a lot more chance if you keep on playing in a day-night manner. But then again, you want to play in a situation where the dew factor doesn't come in. Because once the dew factor starts to come in, then toss becomes important. And you don't want the toss to become important. You don't want a situation where, so you've got to be playing, if you play day-night cricket, one-day cricket, you will still get lots of crowds, you will still get a lot of, you know, people coming in to watch, you'll still get very good cricket. Because now what will happen, thanks to the T20, in the times that I played, 225, 250 was a very, very good score. Now 250 is not a good score. You need 350, 400. Why has that happened? Because of the influence of T20 cricket. Because of the influence of T20 cricket, today one-day cricket has become a lot more exciting. Because of the influence of one-day cricket, test matches became exciting. So test matches, which earlier, during the time we played, it was 5.5 hours a day, not 6 hours. So we would get maybe 200 runs in a day, but now with 6 hours, because of the influence of T20 and one day, today you're getting 300 plus. So the cricket has, all 3 formats, cricket has become far more entertaining and far more exciting, only because of the influence of each format on each other.
Thank you, sir.
Excellent answer. Yes.
Sunny Bhai, Rika from NDTV. Hi. It's an absolute pleasure hearing you. Sunny Bhai, you know, since it's about an evening remembering Mr. Dalmiya, I was listening to you, I was remembering one of the interviews I had done with him back in 2006, 19 years ago, when I had asked him about globalization of the game. And he told me that I would think that the game is truly globalized the day China plays Test cricket. But today, when you see, you know, big 3 or maybe big 4, South Africa included, would you say cricket's base is shrinking, and do you think it's a worry?
Yes, you could say that as far as the Test cricket is concerned. See, it's not just in cricket. If you look at general life, the concentration span has reduced. When you look at whatever the youngsters are doing, even if they are on their phone, and looking at whatever their reels or whatever. Those are what, 60 seconds or less than that. So the concentration span has certainly, come down. And therefore, in some of the associate countries, to be able to play test cricket or even one-day cricket will be asking for too much. But the one way to globalize the game certainly is the short format of T20 cricket. Because that is a 3-hour game, that also 3.5 hours, that also gives an opportunity, this format, for a lower ranked team to beat a higher ranked team. Because it's an over or two where things can change in a jiffy. And once that happens, then the interest level in that particular country, if they beat a world champion, or if they beat a world runner-up or something like that, the interest in that country, in that particular sport will definitely grow. But that said, every country in the world has its own national sport. And to overtake that national sport becomes difficult. And so if cricket has not been a national sport in some other countries, say South American countries, for example, football is #1 sport, then it becomes difficult for the game of cricket, even the T20, to take root in that game.
Srinjoy, can we have a microphone there, please? That's the last one, and then I'll use my position as host to ask one and move on with the rest of the program.
Sunny bhai, this is Srinjoy Bose. I have a small question. See, we have lost the WTC 2 times. But don't you think the WTC is just played after the IPL in June? So don't you think this sudden change from IPL, then suddenly you go, because the team which plays the final, suppose there are 2-3 players of that team which plays WC, they get hardly any time to adjust to the thing. Don't you think that has an effect on the performance?
I'm sure it would definitely have. So I think therefore the date of the WTC final, if it can be pushed by maybe about 10 days, it'll give, after the IPL final is done, for say the Indian team, we're talking about the Indian team, a little more time to maybe go and play a warm-up game over there and then get prepared for the WTC final. I think that's the way to go. And maybe if you're looking at a good weather, good time, you're looking at something like the West Indies, for example. West Indies in the month of June, middle of June, would still be very good time to play cricket over there. Or maybe even South Africa. It might be a little cold over there, but you can pick a place in South Africa which is probably not as cold, and you can get it. You can play over there. So yes, I think you do need a gap, and I think the Supreme Court has mandated that there should be a fortnight's gap between the end of the IPL and the next international assignment for the Indian team. It doesn't always happen because the WTC final is not decided by BCCI, it's decided by the ICC.
Thank you.
Sunny, my final question. Bringing it back to Mr. Dalmiya, what can cricket do for the Olympics and what can Olympics do for cricket? Because take this part of the world. The Olympic Games is still not the brand that a Cricket World Cup is. But the moment you have a Shubman Gill aspiring for a gold medal or a Smriti Mandhana aspiring for a gold medal in 28, you will see viewership shoot up. So the Olympic Games as a brand can become 20 times more in the global south through cricket. And on the other hand, given globally the standing of the Olympic Games, cricket can ride on the Olympic bandwagon, 28 and 32 in Brisbane, and become a far more global sport. Your thoughts on that?
Oh, absolutely. You're absolutely right. I think because the viewership for the Olympics is much more than even for a World Cup final maybe. Yes, sometimes you say, look, you have so many billion watching, but add, add to the billions of Indians, the billions or the millions watching in other countries, say in America, for example, those watching cricket, and it's a 3-hour game. I certainly feel that cricket will definitely grow in countries where you probably haven't seen. And if you by chance get a team which is one of the associate members getting to the semis, I mean that'll be sone pe suhaga.
Fantastic. Anyone really wants to push for a question? I see one hand. That's yours, the last one. No, I can't take more because we've got to close the program. That's the last one, yes.
Sunny bhai, Good evening. Myself, Moin bin Maqsood. I would like to ask you one question. That's why you didn't came for the administration. So much knowledge, so much accreditation, so much of interaction with great administrators. So why you didn't came to BCCI as an administrator?
See, to become an administrator, you've got to win an election. And I think in that particular scenario, you are playing against those who are used to winning elections for a living and for a career. Cricketers are not used to winning elections. Cricketers are used to playing cricket. The opposition against them are those who are winning elections in their, that's their life, that's their career. That's their, I won't say that's their profession, but that's what it is. So where is the chance for a cricketer to win against these who have, made winning elections an art?
Yeah. Sunny bhai, एक request करता हूँ.
I think it's time to...
Yeah, just a request, Sunny bhai. मैं एक SG को हमेशा बोलता हूँ कि मैं आपसे जब भी मिलता हूँ मुझे goosebumps आते हैं. तो आज वही उसकी goosebumps डबल हो गया आपकी तरफ देखने से. आप एक बार इस तरफ देख ले मेरे तरफ, मैं हाथ उठाता हूँ. मैं यहाँ खड़ा हूँ. हाँ. जी.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, because these lights were such I couldn't.
I can understand, sir. Yeah. Thank you, sir. Bye.
Thank you. It's sort of the final part of the program now. It's time to get two of our legends back on stage. Interestingly, when Mr. Gavaskar was talking about Mr. Dalmiya and we were connecting South Africa and India, and we were talking about the commercialism of sport, we talked about 91. Has to be that we talk about 93. And the Hero Cup, staged under the aegis of Mr. Dalmiya, will forever rank as one of those moments in the history of Indian cricket that transformed the sport and made it into a multi-million-dollar enterprise. And the man who made that tournament his own, his best ever bowling effort in the 50-over format, 6 for 12. Put your hands together for one of the greatest, and perhaps India's greatest ever match winner with the ball, Anil Kumble. And to come and do the honors and reveal a very special commemorative trophy before he speaks to us, ladies and gentlemen, the man who made this evening possible, put your hands together once again for Saurav Ganguly. Ma'am, can we have the special commemorative freedom trophy, please? As Saurav gets Anil and Mr. Gavaskar and presents the commemorative trophy, first to Mr. Gavaskar and then to Anil. This will be presented to all our dignitaries and former cricketers and people who attend the match from tomorrow onwards. This is the replica of what the series trophy is about. If you see, it's the first one. This is the Gandhi Mandela trophy, and both their photographs are there. So Cricket Association of Bengal has taken a lot of pain in producing this particular trophy as a commemorative one to present to every dignitary starting tomorrow. Yes, ma'am. Now to Anil, please. These are the first two commemorative trophies. Now, if we have Saurav, Mr. Gavaskar and Anil together for a photo op, please. Anil, if you and Sunny Bhai kindly take your seats and I'll get Saurav to come and speak to us for a moment.
Good evening, everyone. I'll keep my speech short. For me, it's an opportunity to thank Mr. Sunil Gavaskar and Mr. Anil Kumble for being here with us tonight. I've always enjoyed these sort of discussions because it opens up to the world what cricket's all about, how cricket has emerged, and contributions of various people in various times in their cricket career. For me, Sunil Gavaskar is probably the trendsetter of Indian cricket. I still remember the 1983 World Cup at the age of 10 years. India winning the World Cup, and probably for someone like me and Anil, it got us into playing the game. I still remember the 1985 Benson Hedges final after winning the trophy, your speech, and your resignation as Indian captain. These memories will continue to remain with us. When you went past those 10,000 runs, It gave someone like us who picked a cricket bat to play for the state, for the country someday maybe, that runs could be scored by us as well. So your contributions to Indian cricket is not just about scoring runs, winning trophies, but giving the belief to millions of us, the millions of young boys and now girls who pick the cricket bat, that we could be successful as well. So thank you so much for what you've done and what you still continue to do for many of the young players who want to take this as a career. I know the sport has gone a long way forward from the time when you picked a cricket bat just to play and not a profession which has become now, where you can have a career and not worry about anything. So your contributions are beyond countable in terms of money, in terms of what you've earned, but what you've done to Indian cricket. Today, Indian cricket to the world is what you and Mr. Kapil Dev during the years have achieved. To my very dear friend Anil Kumble, as Boria rightfully said, the biggest match winner India has ever seen. I'm extremely fortunate that I played a career with you, extremely fortunate that I had the honor of captaining you for games after games and then the honor of playing under your captaincy. It was a short notice to you to come and attend this function, and I thank you from the bottom of my heart to take your time out and be here with us. I also extend to you an invitation, and I'll have a discussion with you later, if you could be a part of this lecture in the years to come, as and when you can do it. So I'll be in touch with you, and hopefully we can get you here for everyone to understand what it takes to become Anil Kumble. I'm a little disappointed that I could not get the Ranji Trophy boys and the under-19 boys here this evening to hear the two greats speak, because they are away playing cricket matches. But hopefully someday we can have them with you to understand what it takes to be a champion. Thanks to Boria, thanks to Devuda, who was instrumental in getting this evening done. I know he's getting old where he is. He's somewhere behind. I can't see him. I know he's getting old, but the enthusiasm of seeing Mr. Gavaskar and speaking about him, you can still make it out from his eyes. He spoke about commentary between the two SGs. I know Anil is very actively involved in commentary. The only reason I don't want to do commentary is because I don't want my air miles to be more than the runs I scored. And my only disappointment with Mr. Gavaskar is those hard runs, 10,000 and some more in one-day cricket, is lesser than the air miles you've done in the last 20, 25 years. So I still want to tell my young players and young boys that, my runs are more than the number of air miles I've done as a cricketer. But what amazes me is your interest, is your excitement when I see you on television talking about Indian cricket. And that is one of the reasons, is because of what you've achieved over the years, and that is one of the reasons why you have achieved so much for Indian cricket. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you from all of us in this room that you've taken time out, and just on one phone call, that I need you to be here this evening before the test match to come and speak to our members, to our boys. They say you're 76, but you look like 66. Yeah, maybe 34, yes, and I don't mind that. You look like 66, and as Devu rightfully said, that you were the first one to get 34 international hundreds for India, and I hope you become the first one to get past the 100 mark in your life. And we wish you all the best, and we want to continue seeing you on television talking about Indian cricket, because there's no better than both of you on this platform when they speak about Indian cricket. Thank you so much. There's dinner for everyone, and hopefully you enjoyed this evening.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. That brings us to the end of this program. As he said, dinner will be served, celebrating the legacy of Jagmohan Dalmiya, with the wish that Anil Kumble does this lecture at some point in time. Three of our legends on stage: Anil Kumble, Sunny Gavaskar. Sunny bhai, you want to say something?
Yes,
and Saurav Ganguly.
I just wanted to say that because, Saurav said that, he doesn't want the air miles, etc. I was just thinking that maybe odd places like, Kolkata or something like that, like tomorrow, for example. Just imagine two SGs talking about another SG. Wouldn't it be great? There you are.
Saurav, you want to respond to that?
Saurav, think about it.
I have a lot of cleaning to do at Eden Gardens, to make sure the lunches are ready, to make sure the game starts on time, to make sure the floodlights are on, and make sure that the stadium is ready for the third SG to score a Test match 100.
Wow. Wow, I think we couldn't have finished on a better note. May I please request you, in celebrating the memory of Jagmohan Dalmiya, celebrating Sunil Gavaskar, Anil Kumble, and our very own Saurav Ganguly. A standing ovation for all of them, ladies and gentlemen. Cricket Association of Bengal celebrates the memory of Jagmohan Dalmiya.